everybody, I'm glad you're here. Thank you very much for joining me today. Thank you for your support. You know who you are. Thank you. Yeah, I got a few new followers on Patreon. And if you wish to follow me for other news, you can also join me on Twitter. USGS is reporting a 6.2 earthquake there by Mindoro, Philippines. But the U.S. Tsunami Advisory says it was actually a magnitude 7. There is no tsunami warning. It was a fairly deep earthquake, 128 miles in depth. Also, let's see, on Geoscope, they said it was also a magnitude 7.2. And we'll go to the mechanism. Yeah, this was a thrust earthquake, and luckily it was very deep. It's where we got tectonic plates moving. One side moved towards probably the northwest, and yeah, the other side dropped down, but we got uplift here, which is why we had a thrust earthquake, and this was felt all the way over to Yellowstone. 2 reports are on EMSC. I love it when you guys put your reports of felt earthquakes on EMSC, because USGS doesn't place the felt reports. They only show the location. But here we got 291 kilometers northeast of the earthquake, and they said it was a big shake. So that would be over 181 miles. Let's see, another report came in 873 kilometers northeast. So that would be over 542 miles. And it was a mild shake there. Water storage tank sloshed. And like I said, it shook up Yellowstone. It came in as a deep signature there at Yellowstone. Here we got Maple Creek. This one here is West Thumb. Second to the left. Second to the right would be Joseph Coat. Look at the gases that came up. And then at the western boundary. Yeah, look at that. Gases, and it looks like it caused drum beats. Let's go to the signature so you can see it. There we go. Alright. And I'm going to make the western boundary larger. Yeah, see how it made the magma slosh around? These are volcanic tremors. And I talked about volcanic tremors when I did my last report on one of the volcanoes. I don't remember what it was. It might have been Yellowstone. So let's bring this over a little bit. And they did report other earthquakes, but more than likely they're larger than what USGS reported. Let's close this out and bring this up. Okay, we'll close this. Close this. See the earthquakes? Close this. And let's bring this down. Okay. Here's a current live view of Yellowstone. Yeah, we got some storm clouds coming in. And the internet across the country has been acting up. Not just for this side here, but also on Rumble. Was at the store the other day, and their computers were acting up. It's been affecting the phones, and oftentimes we have hacking problems just before a war breaks out. The recent revelation of the 17 tapes that the FBI have about Potato Head government and all the corruption and the bribery that the FBI has known for months and months probably. Grassi was before the Senate and talking about these tapes, and yeah, how the FBI is really corrupt. So more than likely we'll have a war because, yeah, when someone's in hot water, they'll want to distract everybody. You should watch Nick Moss. I believe he is on YouTube talking about the economy. And Yellen, I believe it was yesterday, was talking about how the dollar is going to continue to decline. But Nick Moss did a real good presentation, and he explains, he goes into the history of money, going back to 1904, I believe, and then 1971 when Nixon took us off the gold standard. In my opinion, this is why they're cracking down on food. I'm sure many of you heard the latest from Al Gore, how they now want to target not just meat producers, but also farmers for wheat and corn and vegetables and lettuce. And I was thinking, why in the world would they be going after our food, saying it's bad for the climate? Well, they've been talking about the cows and their farts for years and years, but now they're going after wheat and corn and lettuce and beans, things like that. Well, if we do go to the digital currency, who knows when that's going to happen, that will have control over everything that you buy. They have control over just about your whole life, can tell you what you can buy and what you can't buy. So Nuss was talking about money and how governments don't care what form of money they use. The main goal is to buy the products. It's always about the goods. And he goes into which countries are gaining in production of products, which of course is China, and the next would be the US and then the UK and etc. But I was thinking, okay, what's that got to do with all of a sudden going after our food? Well, if they have control over what you can buy, but not control over what you can barter with, what is the one thing that everyone can produce that they would not be able to control? And that would be your backyard gardens, your plants, your vegetables, tomatoes that you would have on your balconies or whatever. You could barter with that, and the government would have no control over your bartering and wouldn't know what you were bartering for. Maybe you're bartering for medication. Maybe you're bartering for ammunition. So something for you to think about. But let's go back to Yellowstone. What's going on there? Yeah, this is the only way I could probably sneak this into the YouTube watch people. So here we have Hawaii, we got South Dakota, Pennsylvania, and this is that earthquake that occurred about 3 hours ago as I'm making this video in the Philippines. It made the earth ring like a bell. Maybe it was the video that I did about the volcanic activity that's going on in the Philippines that I talked about these earthquakes and how they can erupt with little or no notice at all. And I've talked about that, but I gave actual documentation. So here's that 7.2. And yeah, we got quite a few here. Let's start with this one right here at 8:23. That's universal time. That would have been at 3:23 a.m. Central Daylight Time. They're saying it's a magnitude 6.1, only 6.4 kilometers in depth. So that would be about 3.9 miles, which would be at the bottom of the upper magma chamber for Yellowstone. But it actually came in as a magnitude 1.58. Maybe a little bit stronger. I just gave them the benefit of the doubt and went by the seismic signature and where it started to settle down. Now this is probably what they call volcanic tremors, which is a mixture of the fault line. You know, it's getting really brittle there. It's actually a volcano tectonic earthquake, and that's where the ground gets so brittle it doesn't want to bend anymore. It just pops. And that's what we worry about, not only happening there in Italy, but also here at Yellowstone. In that video, I showed the comparison of what's going on in Italy and here at Yellowstone. Let me bring this down a little bit. Then we got low frequency earthquakes. We got hybrid earthquakes, low frequency earthquakes. Yeah, harmonic tremors, volcanic tremors. And then I talked about, let me bring this down, slow moving tremors, where they're just continuous and long. Yeah, volcano tectonic tremors. It wasn't enlarged like I did here for you, so you can see it. Alright, so we got another one right here. There's other stuff. There was some screaming going on earlier. Let's see. 948 universal. That might be this one, more than likely, a magnitude 2.6 Star Ranch, or Star Valley Ranch in Wyoming. And that's way down here. Let's bring this in. There's actually two of them there. 3.4 miles in depth. And let me come back out here again. Let's see. I'm going to look it up. Meaning I'm going to go to Google Earth and see the location. Alright, let's bring this out. Oh, okay. Yeah, we got the fault line here for the Teton Fault. Yeah, doesn't surprise me. Teton Fault goes all the way down, zigzags around to Salt Lake City, and it comes all the way up to Yellowstone. Yeah, so that doesn't surprise me. The last time a major earthquake rattled the Teton Range and broke the Earth's surface was more than 5,000 years ago. Geological evidence indicates that earthquakes have occurred every 2,000 to 3,000 years in the past. Are we overdue? Well, currently, geoscientists cannot predict earthquakes. It's capable of having a magnitude 7.2 to a 7.5. It will be similar to the earthquake that they had in 1959, a 7.3 at Hedgen Lake. And they got an image of the flooding and the damage, yeah, from that 1959 earthquake. Yeah, this has pressure on Yellowstone, and there by Jackson Hole, we got a dam. So if they had a large earthquake right there, I got it marked out. All right. Yeah, that could cause a lot of devastation. I chuckle. I shouldn't chuckle. But here we got Jackson Lake and the Jackson Dam. Let's zoom in a little bit. Yeah, Jackson Lake, yeah, drains out going towards the east. So if that dam was damaged and suddenly you had all that water from a large earthquake, from a earthquake along the Tetons, I hate that. I got to get a new mouse. Yeah, it would be devastating. Now, the Jackson Valley area, the valley floor is actually rising up because of the Teton Fault. And the mountains are actually dropping a little bit because of all this activity. So they did not fudge about this earthquake. I get a magnitude 2.66. Okay, and the time, let's see, 9:48 Universal would have been 4:47 a.m. Central Daylight Time. And then we got another one. Okay, at 10:16. That was by the Snake River Plateau. They're saying it's a magnitude 1.6. Spencer, Idaho. 5:15 a.m. I get a magnitude 1.94. Maybe I'll shorten it up a little bit. I don't really think I should shorten it too much. It was still rattling there. But if I did, it comes in as a 1.78. Not a magnitude 1.6. Let's make this larger. Yeah, see, that's more likely tectonic volcano earthquake or volcanic earthquakes. See how they're rounded? And I've talked about this a lot. All right, so we got another one. All right, right there at 11:07 Universal. They're saying that is a magnitude 2.6 again along the Teton Fault Zone, a depth of 3.2 miles. I come up with a magnitude 2.42. And I'll show you. Let's go over here. I ended it right there. Looks like the right spot, but they have a magnitude 2.6. Not very often do I have smaller earthquakes than what they report. Then there's a little tiny one. Did they even report it? Looks like one of those slow-moving tremors. 11:13. Nope, they did not report it. Then we got a couple more. Let's see, we got one here. Oh, it's actually probably a series of them, 3 at 14:41 Universal. Let's see, and then we got some more. It's going small on me. Let's make that larger. Take a look at the seismic signature. Okay, 14:44. None of those are being reported. And then, yeah, we got some more slow-moving tremors. See that? Okay, and then we got a good sharp popping right there. 16:18. That one's not being reported. Comes in as a magnitude 1.20. All right, now I wanted to go to the other screaming at the western boundary. Now that's near the west entrance. Let's take a look. Yeah, we got popping. Lots of popping going on. Let me go here and see if I can find the screaming. I did see it on my other monitor. All right, let's bring this over. Yeah, like I said, the ground's very brittle. It's not supple. It's not bending. As the magma comes in, pushes up on the crust of the earth, and we just got pop, 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 pop. Okay, well, I got a good one there. Yeah. I wonder if I can make that bigger. Yeah, there we go. I had to go back to the stream view to try and find it. It wasn't the western boundary. It was west thumb, right there. All right, let me see if I can find it. Yeah, this is on the western side of Yellowstone Lake. And there we go. Look at that. Remember, I talked about how it gets so loud that the machine can't pick it up. But actually in here we have drum beats. Little tiny drum beats. Yeah, isn't that fascinating? See how it goes quiet because it comes in so fast? A change in the frequency of earthquakes may foretell explosive volcanic eruptions occurring, according to studies. The seismic activity changes from steady drum beats to increasingly rapid succession of tremors. These blend into a continuous noise which silences just before an explosion. So this is from Wired.com. Wired News is what I call it. Listen to a volcano scream just before it erupts. Scientists are used to a seismic brouhaha, rising up from the molten depths before a volcano blows its top. But the moment before the 2009 eruption of Redoubt Volcano were different. The earth began to scream. Using sonified seismic data collected in the days surrounding the eruption of Alaska's Redoubt Volcano in March of 2009, Stanford scientists now offer an intriguing explanation for the seismic weirdness that preceded the violent event. I have been looking for this for months. This is a new article about that. But what I've been looking for is the signature of a teeth of a comb. I gotta bookmark this. When I first started my study of volcanoes and earthquakes, I had come across this about the signature of a teeth of a comb. And I haven't been able to find it until just now. Again, I wanted to share that information with you. But here it says, a similarly ordered pattern of tremors, neatly spaced like the teeth of a comb, have been seen before the drumbeat earthquakes, accompanied by a minor eruption of Mount St. Helens between 2004 and 2006. But Alaska quakes were happening faster than anyone had seen before. And they have a link here. I don't know if it works. You have to put it in your browser of the sound. Another paper that I shared, it sounds like a teapot. As the teapot gets louder and louder, it gets a higher and higher pitch. Ellis noticed that the tremors grew and grew as the explosive eruption approached. While the St. Helens quake had maxed out at a rate of 5 little drum beats there per second, the Redoubt quake were off at 6 times that rate, eventually building into a frightening hum of harmonic noise. Moments before the ash cloud began to spew, the seismic screams were quiet. What was causing this swell storm and sudden silence? And it talks about the size of the quakes, which I talked about with the earthquakes there in Italy. How because the ground was getting so brittle, wasn't bending, that the earthquakes were actually becoming smaller and smaller. Here it says, producing weaker quakes that only wobbled the ground by millionths of a meter in each direction. I'll give you a link. You can read more of it. But the short of it is that it comes in so fast that the equipment cannot pick it up. But we do have little tiny tremors here. So between here and here is 5 seconds. I tried to make it larger. Let's see. Possibly 5 little tremors there. 1, 2, 3, I don't know, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. How do you count them? Do I just count the bigger ones? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 there. And if we count just the bigger ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 there. Alright, we got some more right here. See that? See the little tremors? And we got some more over here. I mean, it can end up being very bad. Let's go to West Thumb. There we go. This is West Thumb. This was created by an eruption. Can't think of how long ago. But its eruption that formed this side of the lake was 11 times greater than the eruption of Krakatoa. And there's a fault line that goes through here, and there's a bunch on the outside rim. And then we got all these areas here which were formed by hydrothermal eruptions, Duck Lake and etc. They're hoping the next eruption will be a small eruption. I find it exciting when I discover something new. Let's see, over here we got Mary's Bay. Yeah, that was created by a hydrothermal eruption that threw out rocks miles away and created a tsunami on the lake. And then the last lava eruption, there's been other eruptions more recent along the Snake River Plateau, but this one here was Pitchstone Plateau, and that was 70,000 years ago. They always talk about the last major eruption, but they don't talk about these smaller eruptions, which can be very devastating. Yeah, that was Pitchstone Plateau. There's areas of lava that's over 100 feet thick. So, what are your thoughts? Yeah, put your comments down below. Thank you for letting me rant about the economy and, things that are going on. Sometimes I just have to vent. Are you prepared for a disaster? Are you prepared for the downgrade of the dollar? Yeah, Yellen says it's going to continue to fall, the value, which means inflation's going to come up. So, what can we barter with? Well, I bought a couple extra can openers because probably a lot of people have electric and they don't have the hand crank can openers. I've been putting up food and I'm growing my own food because those are the only things that I think they would be worried about that we would barter with. Looks like the camera froze up, don't it? Like I said, there's been problems with the internet, and that's one of the things that you should watch for before we go to war. Yep. So, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for putting up with me. Always be prepared. Please like, share, and subscribe, and thank you for your support. As always, I'll talk to you later, and God bless you all. Bye.